guys, so this is the 50th episode of Success Stories 100 and I thought I could talk about something that I found less than a year ago and I felt really surprised, or I can say shocked, when I found about it, and it's called conditioning. Well, what's conditioning? To put it in simple words, our behavior or response becomes more predictable at a specific situation as a result of some reinforcement. I know that's not in simple words. I'll give you guys an example so that you can understand it better. Let's say you're sitting in a hall and suddenly someone appears. Everyone stands up and you automatically stand up. The thing is, you don't know who that person was, but you automatically stand up only because people around you stood up. Why did you do that? Because you have been conditioned that if everyone stands up, it's either your teacher or some respectable person. But even if it's not your teacher or some respectable person, if everyone stands up, you'll automatically stand up, and that's called conditioning. To understand this concept much better, let's go back to 1890s. A Russian psychologist, Ivan Pavlov, conducted an experiment with his dogs. It's famously called the Pavlov conditioning. He wanted to measure the amount of saliva secreted by his dogs when they were fed. The dogs would salivate when they see their food coming. Then suddenly Pavlov noticed that the dogs started salivating when they heard the footsteps of the assistant who was bringing them food. By noticing this, Pavlov decided to conduct an experiment. The dogs were not conditioned to salivate when they see food. It's an unconditioned response. It naturally happens in dogs. So what Pavlov did was he rang a bell every time he gave food to his dogs, and he repeated it for a few days. The dogs would only salivate when they see their food, but now, as we expect, the dogs started salivating when they hear the sound of the bell, even if they are not served food. And this is called conditioning. Well, it's not only true for dogs, it's also true for humans. In 1920, Johns Hopkins University professor Dr. John Watson and a university graduate, Rosaline Rayner, conducted an experiment. They conducted the experiment on a 9-month-old toddler, and it is called the Little Albert experiment. At first, they made Albert play with white furry objects, and he was really happy playing with it. It was an unconditioned response. After a few days, as he played with those objects, the professor would make a loud noise to frighten him. He repeated this, and eventually Albert was frightened when he saw white furry objects. So what happened here is the professor conditioned the child to fear white furry objects. The child was afraid of Santa Claus too. So this is called conditioning. I hope I made it clear. We humans are conditioned in certain ways. Our family, our friends, environment has a huge impact in how we are conditioned. One classic example is TV advertisements. Why do you think celebrities do it? Because we love celebrities. We have a positive feelings towards them. So when they promote a product, we develop a positive feeling towards the product too. Pepsi used this same method to market their product. It was Michael Jackson's time and people were going crazy about him and his albums. Pepsi thought, how can we make people love Pepsi just like the way they love Michael? They used him to advertise their product. They associated Pepsi with Michael Jackson, which when repeatedly plays on TV, stimulates people to love Pepsi the way they love Michael. So I think that's enough examples and experiments to understand what conditioning is. And I'm not going to talk about how we are conditioned, how it affects our life, and how to recondition. I'm just leaving you guys here to understand it, and we'll talk about it more in future. Thank you.